Hello. It's Off-Book Movie Summaries speaking. Today I've explained a war drama film titled The Keeping Room, which was released in 2014. Stay alert, there will be spoilers in my review. After President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1861 and abolished slavery in America, a civil war erupted between the Confederates and the Union Army, leaving the southern states without men to defend their homes. Thus, all women in the South must fight to save their lives and defend their properties from two renegade, drunken soldiers who have broken off from the Union Army to carry out inhuman attacks like rape, murder, and burning the properties that belonged to the Confederate soldiers. After the deaths of their parents on the battlefield, Augusta and her younger sister Louise stay at an isolated farmhouse with their old house slave, Mad. Given that now she is a free woman, Mad feels safe, wants to still live and cook for them, and is now part of the family. Augusta always stands up for Mad when Louise speaks to her abusively and advises Louise to stop her negative attitude towards Mad. She reminds her that Mad is no longer a servant or slave. Somewhere in South Carolina, the two rogue Union soldiers, Henry and his partner, Moses, continue their lawless acts of pillage and violence. After sexually assaulting the women, they kill them, and not only that, they burn everything they come across on their way. That morning, Augusta calls her young sister, Louise, to lend a hand in harvesting the potatoes. Angrily, Louise tells her once more that being around a black person makes her uncomfortable. Louise becomes agitated when Augusta defends Mud and runs away. That evening, a black man is also spotted riding a horse in a southerly direction, but he immediately conceals himself when he sights two Union Army soldiers heading in the same direction. The following day, Augusta continued her farm work as usual. Suddenly, she hears her young sister Louise yelling for assistance in the woods. She then quickly grabs her gun and runs alongside Mud to find out what's happening, only to discover that she has been bit by a venomous snake and is severely bleeding. Without waiting a second, Louise is lifted and carried back to the house, but Augusta becomes more afraid because Louise's body temperature is very high and her skin has turned red. Sadly, they don't have any specific medications to treat her sister's illness. Mud says she should ask their closest neighbors for medical assistance. Augusta mounts the horse in haste, hoping to acquire a drug that will heal her sister. In the meantime, Augusta reaches the nearby neighborhood. She then says hello but gets surprised when there is no one responding. She becomes suspicious, then walks into the house, only to find the property owner's lifeless body lying in the chair and the room infested by flies and stench. She spots the poison bottle in her hand. It seems she killed herself out of frustration. Now the likelihood of saving her sister is dwindling. So she hastily mounts the horse for her father's friend, who stays several miles away, but she does not mind the distance. After spending the whole day riding the horse, Augusta finally reaches the place. She ties her exhausted horse to the pole. Just then, she notices a black dog waiting outside the house. Despite this, Augusta walks into the room to meet her father's friend, Caleb. Without saying hello, Caleb whispers to her that she has made the grave mistake of coming to his place. Augusta turned around only to discover that two soldiers in Union Army uniforms were staring at her, and it's rumored that they're killing everyone they come across in the South. Augusta reveals to him that she came all this way in hopes of good luck to save her sister. She can't go back home with nothing because she doesn't want to lose her. Caleb orders his wife Molly to find some herbs that might be of help to Augusta. She reveals to Caleb that her horse is exhausted, and she can't use it to go back home. Molly handles Augusta's medicine and advises her to steal the captain's horse. Only she has to go up the stairs and jump through the window, where Caleb will be waiting for her. Molly playfully sits on Henry's lap to distract them, but Moses follows Augusta with his eyes when she enters the room. He quickly ascends towards the door, only to find out that she has already escaped through the window. When Henry hears a barking dog outside, he freaks out and tries to push Molly away, but she bites his lips in the process. Henry slaps her, knocks her to the floor, and runs outside. Henry freezes when he learns that Moses is being held at gunpoint. Augusta threatens to shoot him dead if he tries to reach for his gun or if he takes another step forward. Listening to Caleb advises her to vanish, Augusta slings the rifle around her back, turns the stolen horse, and races away to save her dying sister. Moses and Henry turn around and look at Molly and Caleb, who stand by uneasily, waiting for their fate. Augusta kicks the horse faster, and in the distance, a gunshot is heard after another while Augusta keeps going. On that darkest night, Augusta arrives at the farmhouse with an exhausted smile, where Mad had been waiting for her, and heads straight to the house. Augusta thanks God that Louise is still alive and holds her tight. The duo ladles the medicine onto Louise's back and the affected leg. Augusta goes on to tell her the tales of the cruel king and his servants in order to make her sleep. When she falls asleep, Augusta and Mad become more worried that she might not make it through. because her body is too hot and has turned red. In the afternoon, Moses and Henry walk unsteadily on the road while tracking down August's whereabouts, but without success. At that moment, Moses sights Augusta's piece of cloth hanging on the tree leaves. This boosts their confidence in pursuing her. Back to the farmhouse, Augusta learns about Mad's background when she says that she and her husband had to labor as slaves in numerous homes and fields in order to survive. Unfortunately, they were separated when another slave master purchased her husband. Mad still believes and hopes her husband will return to her one day since the federal government has already abolished slavery in the country. The conversation is cut short when Louise shows up and tells them she wants to have something to eat. This boosts Augusta and Mad's hopes that Louise will get well soon, and they start to sing gleefully while preparing potato soup for her. The night rider arrives at Caleb's house that evening, only to find out that everyone has been slaughtered and that he can't save the dying horse. Moments later, Augusta hears sheep on the property wailing. Then she wakes up mad, gets out of bed, grabs her rifle, and they move outside to investigate what might be the problem. Only to discover the black dog has chowed down their sheep. Augusta immediately shoots and kills it with her shotgun. All of a sudden, she hears someone in the woods calling the dog's name. This prompts Augusta and Mad to rush back to the house, lock the doors, and awaken Louise. Augusta opens their father's safe box and retrieves ammunition that might be of use to her. Despite Mad's advice against moving outside alone, Augusta insists and reasons with her that even if they remain inside, the drunken soldiers will break and enter anyway. Augusta uses the stairs to covertly locate the defense position. That instant, the Union soldiers open gunfire from outside and almost got her. But she takes the plunge to survive. After firing several rounds at the house, the thugs resorted to throwing cocktails inside in an attempt to burn it down. When Augusta realized it, she undressed herself and used the dress to put out the fire. But this is not enough to stop the bandits from finding other means to enter the house. Augusta grabs her rifle and follows the footsteps. She shoots the goon before he leaps through the window. She then quickly rushes back to the bedroom, where she illustrates some basic skills to Mad on how to powder and shoot the gun. Augusta hastily dons her father's boots and orders Mad to shoot anyone who comes within her line of sight in order to save her sister. Then she goes outside in an effort to encounter the bandits. Since Augusta is accustomed to this farm, she runs down into the woods in order to create a diversion. Henry kicks and breaks the door down and enters the house. He comes across an isolated and locked bedroom. He immediately kicks and knocks the door to the ground. But Mad is too terrified to shoot the goon. Henry snatches the gun from her and hits Mad right across the face, knocking her out, leaving Louise terrified and defenseless. She tries to run away, but Henry grabs her and throws her on the bed, where he rapes her violently. After finishing his lawless act, Henry points the gun at Louise's face to shoot. Out of the blue, Mad shoots him from behind and kills him for good. Moses starts his stupid talk about his admiration and has no intentions of hurting her. And he promises to put down his weapon if she moves out of her cover. Augusta surprises him with bullets, but she gets wounded during the crossfire. Mad pushes the thug off of Louise and comforts her. Moments later, Moses helps himself to stand up and walks towards Augusta, lying in the field. She uses the gun to hit him in the head before hastily going inside to meet her sister. Mad uses alcohol to treat Augusta's gunshot wound and bandages it to avoid loss of blood. Sadly, Augusta and Louise learn from Mad that her recent slave master sexually abused her multiple times, but no one tried to save her even when she started to scream. The conversation is cut short after I hear footsteps outside the house. Augusta and Mad take their positions in order to combat any intruders. To Mad's surprise, she finds out that her longtime husband has come back to meet her. But her happiness didn't last long because the man got shot by Augusta. Mad tearfully runs and holds tight to her lover on the ground. Breathing so deeply, he tells her how much he has missed her recently. Mad kisses him before he becomes motionless. Augusta holds herself responsible for causing a lot of pain. Because of the terrible mistake, she feels ashamed and can't stand to watch Mad crying. So she takes a walk around the farm. Augusta learns that the thug whom she shot in the field has disappeared, which means he is not dead. Then she runs back inside the house. First she apologizes to Mad for the killing of her husband and informs them that one soldier is still alive, and they must hunt him down before he comes back to hunt them. The three women pick up their guns and head into the woods. Thanks to the blood on the ground, they tracked him down in the stable, where he was waiting for them with a gun in his hand. Moses informs Augusta by stating that his killing will not have any value because the battalion of Union soldiers has already taken Georgia and is heading to South Carolina. Since he has feelings for her, he places the gun down on the table and asks her to marry him because he's tired of living an unhappy life. But Augusta is full of hatred for Union soldiers because they killed her father and her older brother. She shoots and kills him on the spot. Moments later, Augusta, Louise and Mad dig and bury the deceased bodies in the field. Just then, mad spots of wildfire smoke are seen all over the skies from the nearest villages, which means that the Union Army has already entered South Carolina and is burning every property they come across. Then Louise comes out with a plan to exhume the buried bodies, disguise themselves as men, and relocate them to another state to save their lives. They burn their father's properties and escape before being captured by the Union soldiers. This brings the move to an end. But don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more of my videos.